Let's now move, if we can, to what you wanted to talk about in the beginning here, this Chester State Park. And you said you arrived just a few months ago?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness! So we can get a fresh view of Chester. If you had to describe the outstanding feature of Chester State Park compared with the other 46 parks, what would you mention first?
Well, it sounds kind of funny, but grass.
How so?
Everybody's got grass in the yard, or knows somebody has a grassy yard. But the mountain parks, Table Rock has Table Rock Mountain. The ocean, the beach parks have the Atlantic Ocean. We have our landscaping here, and I was lucky enough to inherit a park that had an immaculate landscaping program already in place. There's very few places you can go in South Carolina and see the pretty green grass in a public area growing all the way up to the pine trees, and it's throughout the park that way, from the front gate all the way down to the lake itself at the end of the main park road. It's a pretty well manicured.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Manicured landscape, but then again, you also can see what a forest in South Carolina would look like before South Carolinians were here.
But I've got to ask you, I have a lawn too in Columbia. How in the world do you keep the pine needles off those lawns?
There's a lot of raking and a lot of grass cutting going on in this park. That's a big maintenance issue at this park.
And do you use any kind of special fertilizer, or is that a state secret?
No, sir. It's just natural ground. It's that South Carolina soil. It is the orange soil out here. I'm a low country boy. I'm used to that black dirt, but this orange dirt handles the grass pretty well. We just have to make sure it keeps cut and keep the pine needles raked up.
So you must have a variety of mowing machines and things to handle that.
We have a couple of riding mowers, and it's a full-time job just trying to chase the grass.
I would say it must be. Who comes to Chester State Park?
Chester State Park is designed to be more of a community-based park, and it is heavily used still 75 years later as a big community draw for the town of Chester. We have a huge day use area, and it is heavily used by the surrounding communities. We have 3 picnic shelters that are used by family reunions, corporate outings, birthday parties. We also have a community building that's used for those same reasons, weddings as well in the park. This park is based in this community, and the community does really support this park.
Well, looking at the park, though, it seems to me as though this should be a destination park for people from other parts of the state or from other states to come here and see this unusual landscape.
Yes, sir. And we do have a lot of people coming in now from other parts of the state. We are centrally located between Charlotte and Columbia. It's about 50 miles either direction, and we are less than 10 miles off of I-77, which is the main corridor between those 2 big towns. We also have the camping area here at the park. We have 25 sites that are for RV camping with 20 and 30 amp hookups and water available. We also have a large Boy Scout area, and we are a major Boy Scout destination for this area. Not just from Chester, but from other surrounding towns in South Carolina, even going into Charlotte and some North Carolina towns as well.
Well, that's a good thing. Those Boy Scout programs will raise people who will come back here and appreciate the place.
Yes, sir. That's something we're looking to develop even more so now, is to really give these Boy Scouts projects that they can come and they can get their merit badges and get their Eagle Scout projects, but also have something where they can come back 5, 10, 15 years from now and say, hey, I did that. Let me bring my kid out here and show him what I did, and then continue on generation after generation.
This isn't a huge park, is it? How many acres?
It's about 525 acres, and the lake is 160 acres.
So it isn't one of the biggest parks by any means, but I noticed that the day use area is huge.
Yes, sir. Again, this community is really involved in this park, and the park reflects that. It is here for the day use area is just as much as the RV area is in the park. We have 3 picnic shelters, a community building, 2 large playground areas, a volleyball court, a horseshoe ring, and there's a large field that people will use pretty much every other weekend, and especially in the spring and fall for pickup games of baseball. So it's a very heavily used park.
I'm glad I don't have to mow that field. It's beautiful, but somebody else can have the pleasure of mowing it.
We'll take care of it.
How about this lake? Now, you were bragging on the fishing at this lake pretty strongly, and I must say it does look promising.
Yes, sir. We have a good many people bring in their own boats, and we have our 10 new boats going in the water hopefully this week that we can rent out to the public. And demand is here pretty much year round. It's slower in the wintertime, but spring is a big season for fishing at Chester State Park.
So you got some serious fishermen in here.
It's very serious fishermen. We're actually looking to expand into maybe some small tournaments for the park here in the near future.
Well, that'll be interesting. It is a beautiful lake and quite a large one for a state park lake. And you're responsible for the whole thing, aren't you?
Yes, sir. We own the property all the way around the lake. It is our lake.
So you have to take care of it. A mixed blessing.
Yes, sir.
How about trails and hiking here? Any of that?
We do have a hiking trail that goes from the boathouse and loops around the south end of the lake to the spillway area. It's about a mile one way, so 2 miles there and back.
Well, I'm hoping to hike that trail this afternoon and maybe take a couple of pictures.
It's a good trail to go out. It's an easy trail to walk. It's a wide, flat trail, and it follows the bank around the lake, and it's a good place to see a lot of wildlife, a lot of deer, wild turkeys. You'll see the fish cutting the water, and you'll actually walk up. Usually when I walk the trail, I walk up at least 2 different flocks of ducks out there every time.
Oh, for heaven's sake. So even old geezers with weak knees like me can enjoy that trail.
Yes, sir. It's a geezer-friendly trail.
It's a geezer. You've given me a new phrase. I'll have to cite you for that.